Hello, Flagstone. I wanted to do this screencast to just give you a little bit of background since most of you were not at the BLT meeting where we went through data this past spring. But one of the goals was to do some reading over the summer and really think about how we could do some professional development around culturally responsive teaching. We felt like based on our school data, and I'm going to go through that in just a second with you, it was really important that we look through this. So I did read a book over the summer, and I thought we could do something now that's really explicit and does not take a lot of time, but could have a great impact upon our teaching. So really the idea is we're going to launch that before school starts with this 1 hour webinar that I'm going to ask you to watch. And then every month, I'm going to do a 10-minute screencast, which is what you're listening to now, just as an overview of what we'll focus on for that month. But it really isn't another thing that you're going to be doing. It's highlighting the instructional strategies that you already do, but being really purposeful about them in the classroom. So after the book that I did read, I felt like it was something that we couldn't wait on, and it really isn't going to take a lot of extra time to learn some of these strategies, but it will have a great impact on our students at Flagstone. So with that, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background. One of the things that I was going through when I was putting this presentation together was this quote by Barack Obama, and I hate reading slides, but I'm going to read this because I think it's super powerful. One of the reasons why we need to look at culturally responsive teaching, Barack Obama said this in his farewell address to the nation when he was leaving the presidency. He was talking about the division that the nation currently has around the polarization of beliefs and attitudes, around culture, around politics, around ideals. And he said, hearts must change. It won't change overnight. Social attitudes oftentimes take generations to change. But if our democracy is to work the way it should in this increasingly diverse nation, then each one of us needs to try to heed the advice of a great character in American fiction, Atticus Finch, who said, "You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it." And that is from President Barack Obama's farewell speech. So that's kind of been on the back of my mind. And then when we were talking in BLT in the spring, we went over some data from our discipline data. And I just want to share that with you and really kind of give you a snapshot of what we talked about as a staff. I'm having a hard time showing this right now. So in chart 1, this was our referrals by type. And if you look, our physical contact, we have 470 students. And throughout the course of the year, over 40 incidences of physical contact where kids were being aggressive towards one another and physically put their hands on one another. Those are from office referral data. The second one was aggressive behavior. So it wouldn't necessarily be physical, but it would be language or saying things that they wanted to do. It was just under 40. So if you add the two of them together, that's over 80 incidences of students that had some type of physical or verbal aggression towards one another. And I'm not saying all of it was driven by cultural issues, but a lot of it is around perspective taking and not really understanding other folks' perspective. And then the other chart was around the number of referrals for our students, which were male to female. And this is quite a disparity between our male population and our female population. And I thought that that was pretty interesting. So our male students, we definitely have some work to do with them. Another thing that we discussed with BLT was around the idea of perspective taking. And I can't tell you as an administrator how many times I have gotten requests from parents, or you as teachers have gotten requests from parents to separate their kids because their families don't believe the same way, or they don't want them around them because they think they're a bad influence. And as we have an increasingly diverse school community, our cultural base is a lot different than when Flagstone opened. We have same-sex parents, we have single parents, we have transgender students, we have many more incidences of issues between kids based on those type of conflicts. We have various different religious beliefs in our school, and racial diversity is becoming more apparent at Flagstone. So this idea of culturally responsive teaching certainly has a place. So that's really where I wanted to start. I do think that this overview that you're going to listen to from Zaretta Hammond is powerful. I've listened to it twice now, and I'm about to listen to it a third time. And it is based on her book, Culturally Responsive Teaching. And the idea this year is I have read the book, I've bookmarked the book, I've highlighted the book, and rather than trying to do a book talk where everybody has to take time and we don't have it to read the book, I've highlighted several key points based on her rigorous framework that she sets up for culturally responsive teaching. So I think it's something that Ready for Rigor framework, that's what she talks about. And there it breaks up into some very distinct things that we can do, and I think it's going to be pretty powerful. So with that said, I just wanted to give you an introduction as to the why we're doing this, and then please link yourself to that YouTube that I have in the newsletter and just listen through that. This is for certified and classified. It's important that this is work that we start this year, and I think that you'll find it extremely worthwhile. Thank you.